In this video, we will be doing a first read of Document B to try to understand what it's all about. The title is Document B, the Black Codes. First, let's look at some of the text features again. The first thing I noticed is that the source is given again at the very top. This reads, Black Codes from Opelousas, Louisiana, July 3rd, 1865. There's also a bit of text up here to give context for the document, just like in Document A. I also noticed there are footnotes again, so I know to find definitions for tricky words at the bottom or the foot of the page. I also see that the text is divided into sections. I see that there are some missing numbers, so I will infer that this document shows a partial list of the black codes. Now let's take a minute to source this document so we know what we're reading. Follow along as I read the description at the top, and then we'll fill out the sourcing table again. Document B, the Black Codes. Source, Black Code from Opelousas, Louisiana, July 3rd, 1865. In the years following the Civil War, many southern states and cities passed black codes. These laws laid out what freed black people were and were not allowed to do. The document below, passed on July 3rd, 1865, is a black code from Opelousas, Louisiana. Up until the 1970s, the term Negro was used to identify black people, but it is not used today. The first question for sourcing asks, what type of document is this? The source tells us again what these are. They are black codes. From the context blurb, I know that these are laws that were written for black people. Question 2 asks, who created it? This doesn't show a name, but again in the context blurb, it tells who passed these black codes. Where this document came from is more clear. It tells you the name of the city, Opelousas, Louisiana. It also explicitly tells us the date, July 3rd, 1865. The last question is a tricky one again. It asks which audience this was written or created for. Reread the context paragraph again. Who do you think needed to understand these codes? Again, the purpose of sourcing is for you to start thinking about context and perspective as you read to help you better understand history. Follow along as I read. Keep in mind both the information we learned from sourcing and the big question, were black people really free during Reconstruction? Does this document support the claim that black people were free? Or does it support the claim that black people were not free during Reconstruction? Document B, the Black Codes. Source, Black Code from Opelousas, Louisiana, July 3rd, 1865. In the years following the Civil War, many southern states and cities passed black codes. These laws laid out what freed black people were and were not allowed to do. The document below, passed July 3rd, 1865, is a black code from Opelousas, Louisiana. Up until the 1970s, the term Negro was used to identify black people, but is not used today. Section 1. No Negro shall be allowed to come within the limits of the town of Opelousas without special permission from his employers. Section 3. No Negro shall be permitted to rent or keep a house within the limits of the town under any circumstances. Section 4. No Negro shall reside, there's a footnote meaning to live in. No Negro shall reside within the limits of the town of Opelousas who is not in the regular service of some white person or former owner. Section 5. No public meetings of Negroes shall be allowed within the limits of the town of Opelousas under any circumstance without the permission of the mayor or president of the Board of Police. This, however, does not prevent the freedmen from attending the usual church services. Section 7. No freedman who is not in the military service shall be allowed to carry firearms or any kind of weapons within the limits of the town of Opelousas without the special permission of his employer in writing and approved by the mayor or president of the Board of Police. Section 11. All the foregoing provisions, there's a footnote, meaning all the rules mentioned, So all the foregoing provisions apply to freedmen and freed women.